Save big with OK Furniture's Christmas price beat. Don't miss out on the festive deals on furniture, appliances, home entertainment, and more. Browse our catalog now and shop these amazing deals in store or online before 24 November 2024. T's and C's apply. iDiskiTV powered by World Sports Betting. iDiskiTimes.co.za. Ndingavuya kakhulu banga benokwazi ukuvula le video ngesisuthu kodwa kanikwazi okwangoku okanye ngesivenda. Can you open this video in Sesotho?
Ngintwana senkambini, ngintwana sekasi.
Ari Pirates ishapile Richards Bay Kabongwe Lindo. I don't know how do we proceed.
Orlando Pirates win 1-0 nedlala li Richards Bay
Yes, sir.
Orlando Stadium. Congratulate wabo. Rabalebugisa.
Mapakania, or we could say it in Tsonga as well. We can say it in Venda as well. All of our languages in Setswana, in Sepedi, all of our languages in Swati as well. You are Swati by blood.
Yeah, I'm Swati by blood.
Yeah, so Swati and all of that. It was our wish to be able to open these videos in different languages. It's just that there's a limitation. I can only speak 2 or 3 languages. He can only speak 2 or 3 languages. But anyhow, we are one country. Ubone njani umdlalo?
Yeah, Nkuleko shop kunjani?
Yes, sir.
I think police the legendary too.
Did you go to Lindo?
Lindo.
Your barber?
Yeah, Lindo my barber.
Did you go to him today as well?
No, yesterday.
Yesterday.
No, actually, I need to invite
You guys, it's a beauty thing. Like the way that you guys cut your hair, like Justice, can you see? Like Justice is like shaking his head. Because Tina, we cut our hair like once every 3 weeks or something.
No, I mean every after 3 days.
Oh yeah, where were you today?
Today I was at a school. I got an invitation from Efundeleni Secondary School, which is my former school. Yeah, I got an invitation there to come speak as a guest to encourage the young children and of course to hand over my sports awards.
Nice.
I was very humbled, man. I was very humbled. I was very privileged. Thank you for the recognition.
Next time you will charge them.
Not my former school, but
You charge people for your time, like 35,000 per hour.
I stayed for 3 hours.
Yeah, you charge people for your time next time. The first one is free. What did you make of the game today? Do you agree as well? Because this is the last video that we're shooting. People don't know that this is the last video that we're shooting today. And from all of the other videos, what is the takeaway is that not a good performance from both teams. But of course, Orlando Pirates, if you had to choose which team deserve to win, it's Orlando Pirates. Do you agree with that sentiment?
No, I agree with the sentiment. The standard of the game was poor. Lack of intensity, but I think also Orlando Pirates played a lot of low-risk passes. I think the idea was to manage the load. They understand that they've got so many games to play. But when I'm looking at both teams, and I'm looking at the Richards Bay, in my opinion, I'm going to be very critical, even though they've been doing very well. Abangene bafike Orlando Stadium today with no game plan, because if you check, they only had a game plan defensively. Let's be honest. I don't think they had a plan, in my opinion, because if you check the tactical structure, they had 4 midfielders. But comparing the show, they narrow the midfield, make it very compact, but allow my fullbacks to always be free. So they thought to themselves, where can we give Orlando Pirates the ball? We can give them a ball to Hot, we can give a ball to Monyan. But Monyan today played very well. He allowed and they used the space very well. He took a lot of shots outside the box. Even the goalie, if you check, I think the first one was identical. I think he shy Pezulu. The second one, we shy the goalkeeper, a mistake from the goalkeeper, even though I rate Oteno. I rate him very high. I think he's a very good goalkeeper in my opinion.
Couple of men of the match performances.
Yeah, the games that I've seen him in, I think he's played very well. Makes some mistakes there. Evidence Mahopa is awake. He's on form, the boy Mahop. I think if he was off form, I don't think that opportunity because of Tatankolego.
The one thing that's positive about him that I keep on noticing is his run. Yeah. I don't like the runs outside the box, of course. I don't think that you should be doing that. But his run in, because it's not the first time that he's doing a tap in from a goalkeeper making a mistake. Manuel Sapunga for Polokwane City did the same thing at the same stadium, Orlando Stadium, where he gave Bandega's a change. And Mahopa, if you watch his run, Mahopa from 2 or 3 years ago, he would have been offside.
That's what we said actually when we were watching
the game. He would have been offside, but he is improving that run. He now knows how to be level with the last defender, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing that he's improving that aspect, and of course the goal scoring aspect as well.
Nkolego, he's coachable. That's very important to notice. And another thing, Omahopa, he can be very creative with his movement as well. Maybe not so much on the ball, but his movement, I think it frees players like Abongkota, it frees players like Tito, no really Mfukeng. But if you check Nkolego, the tactical detail, just pay quickly, is for me, they get the ball, they allow Orlando Pirates, they stifle the midfield, don't play in the direct line, Kulego. And then when Orlando Pirates goes wide, Hoto brings in these crosses first half, where I felt they needed to change in terms of how they approach the game, because those things were not working. The captain, dealt with those boils easy, in my opinion. I said to you, even when we were watching the game, I think the Orlando Pirates are going to have to attack that direct line, Kulego. They're going to have to be confrontational in terms of how they attack those 8s, the 6, and those 2 centre backs, because going from wide, they were always ready. Richards Kulego wide, Pirates wide la ball. Immediately, Malia boxing, they dealt with that ball very easy, in my opinion. Second half, by introducer, but second half, by keeper Makaula, in my opinion, they bring in another 8 to add numbers in terms of them. Because if you check the tactical structure, it was always a 3-2. Rest defensive, because they realized they don't need much control. They don't need. They have control of the game anyway.
Yeah.
They needed a forward pass. They needed creativity. Also, they needed brains, a thinker, someone who can think. Also, pace. Even though Udlamina Magangena, he tried his best. Even though he came Bevanga, I felt that Tito is incredible. Tito, I think, is special. I think it's something to be mentioned every time when he's on the pitch. Orlando Pirates shows it. And for also, he's the thinker, he's the energy generator at the team. We always says that he interprets number 10. I think we need to...
Yeah, no, he completely plays it different.
He completely plays it different. In my opinion, drops very deep.
I don't know if I can... I'm trying to think who's familiar with that, because Shoes was a different number 10, who was very direct, and Shoes scored goals, created opportunities at the late John Shoes.
I think the Kaka.
But Kaka didn't dwell too much outside the final third. So Maswanganyi, his interpretation of his number 10, and I'm not criticizing it, I'm actually just thinking that it's very interesting that whoever is supposed to be his number 6 cannot know whether or not to keep on following him, because number 8 Wakdala or number 10 Wakdala, where you were an all-rounder. You can find yourself wherever you can find yourself. You are an all-rounder, because we used to have that when we were kids.
Actually, basically, I complicated this thing. It's a traditional number 10. He drops as an 8 when there's space, and he also plays as a 10. But what I like about him, and he's improving. And I'm happy, and I hope Tito, and I always encourage him to say, in this instance, he needs to watch Ribeiro, to me, in my opinion. There's this dink passes, these one-touch passes, and I think to myself, that's special for him.
Ribeiro masters that pass.
But that's why in football, we learn, you are Georgia, you steal with your eye. You understand? And even for me, some of these smaller teams, there's this rule that's used by Tottenham Hotspur. They call it the 10-minute rule. Before each and every training session, players are coming into the training session and they work on their weaknesses. Simple. If a left-footed goalkeeper, in the 10 minutes, he's going to work on building with his right foot. If a right-footed centre-back is playing on the left, he will work on passing with his left foot. Those are things that are needed. For me, I look at those little things, coaching details. And this is a question that I always ask now. Do we have capable coaches that can develop football players in this country? I'm watching those quality of those. They look very average and ordinary.
Yeah, I think you have to be... I agree with you that we were watching ordinary players. You have to be realistic in terms of what these teams are. I don't think these teams are that serious. You remember what happened with the coach Vilagaz in June or July. And this coach, Brendan Truter, is literally a few months into his job. And I think he just has to go from one game to another. These teams never even give themselves an opportunity to develop players, to coach players properly. And there is a problem with coaching, generally speaking, in this country. But there's never really an opportunity. Let's say, for example, do you really think that that club and the owner, you do your thing, you have 2 years, just coach these players? No. As soon as he loses the next game, that becomes the biggest thing to react on from the owners.
It's done even in Germany by a team, Hoffenheim. There's 3,000 people in that Lentuza, but they rely so much on their development. Right? It's progressive development. They need to give independence progress. They need to give independence, creativity, and development to those players. Some of those players, they are pushed by the coach in terms of the tactical structure. But there's no independence, there's no creativity in their play, there's no freeness. They are not free. They're too robotic, in my opinion. I think Brendan Truter, I like him as a person, but as a coach, I think he's a very robotic coach with how those players move. You understand? But just to touch base, Orlando Pirates, a couple of good performances, in my opinion, even though I felt they didn't play well. I want to emphasize this. But also, you need to be very clear. From a technical point of view, they played a lot of low-risk passes, in my opinion. They made game intensity. It lacked a lot of creativity, even though that goal was a mistake. But credit to Umonyane. I think with Tito, it's been a while since him praise. I think when you're special, you can see the difference. He's one of the best players in the league, in my opinion. You're looking at a player like Sesane, who's very comfortable on the ball. Uchaine organizes that box, less mistakes in their game. Football is a game of mistakes. There's less mistakes in midfield, the Orlando Pirates as well. Even though Abombata didn't play well, but there was less mistakes. Yes, they didn't keep the ball or move the ball in dangerous areas because I think the instructions was manage the load, manage the game, and make sure that you play in low pressure zone so that Banga be vulnerable to the counter attack. Because if you saw Unsundwane absolutely bullied. They wanted to pull Sesana, even though Sesana did very well. When they started introducing Figueiredo, that's when they started having a plan, Kulego. And that's where I felt that they needed to keep the ball a little bit better. In the first half, if we check his stats, City 67 vis-a-vis 33 something. And you are checking Orlando Pirates, when you were watching the game, there were no total dominance. They didn't move the ball in dangerous areas, in my opinion. But I want to speak about Urile and the tips development. There's something about busy tips in Ajax Amsterdam. The boy is technically very good in terms of kicking the ball and knowing when to hold the ball. The boy's got personality. I understand, the boy has insight, football intelligence, decision making, personality, knowing how to play with your teammates. The very same thing with Nkota. That's another thing you identify. The tips at Ajax Stadium School, and then the S Nkulego is for speed. But speed over distance, that's what Nkota has, that's what Urile has. Urile also has an element of being very creative. But what I see with Orlando Pirates and Jorge Rivero is, I am very impressed with the young players that are coming through Orlando Pirates, which is something in check. They're high-level players in terms of their profile, in terms of how they carry themselves on and off the pitch, and they deliver results for Orlando Pirates. Big clubs don't have to play well to win. For me, they've got too many matches. The fact that they can play like this and still win is credit to the club, is credit to those players. But just to give Valankulego today, Guy Fox Day.
So what, man? It's the 5th of November.
It's the 5th of November.
There were no fireworks. Penny guy.
Yeah,
there were no fireworks in today's game as well.
But if Penny, this is another thing in this country. Penny is telling
the only Penny is Papa Penny that I realize.
Penny Guy Fox is actually
the only Penny I like is Papa Penny.
I don't know Papa Penny. It's been a while since I've seen that guy, but I want to speak about Guy Fox.
I love Papa Penny's music.
I don't listen to the guy. I don't want to lie.
He's got great music.
I want to educate the country a little bit and tell them,
why do you genuinely think that the people are interested in Guy Fox?
Because people were telling amanzi strateni kuleko masidlula namhlanje bafuna ukukuthela ngamanzi and so forth. I'm thinking to myself that the day was not actually meant for that. Guy Fox.
There you go. Continue with Guy Fox. The video is not over. He will educate you guys about Guy Fox. Guy Fox.
No, Guy Fox is actually something that happens on the 5th of November every time. It's actually, they call it the gunpowder plot in England. It's actually a British thing where a guy who Guy Fawkes and his conspirators, I'm a Catholic conspirators, they actually wanted to burn the parliament and they wanted to actually kill James I, who was the prime minister of England. Thank you very much.
Okay, I resonate with that rebellious spirit, Skak guy, Wawa Fox. I like him more now that you've explained who he was. I resonate with that. People must burn things down sometimes. iDiskiTV, Times was sports betting.